Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat, directed on Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being streamed live on Prime FM Morovia 105.5 and also on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. If you want to watch the show online, just tap Nighttime Heat on your Facebook page. And of course, you're going to watch the show on your your page, and of course, likewise, your YouTube channel. You want to watch the show, just tap a Nighttime Heat. We are here from Monday up to Friday, and of course, today is the weekend edition of the program, and of course, it promises to be very, very interesting. The panelists is going to put their thoughts to some of the major happenings. Like I said to you, our panelists are always spirited. Besides, they are people who are very conversant of the national discourse. They don't scratch their heads. When they're talking about the issues confronting Liberia. So please share the show tonight. Share the show so that you can, so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. We want you to share the show so that your friends can follow. And of course, like I said, tonight promises to be very, very interesting. I will have David Benedictus Erasmus Tagwe, in studio. He's already here. Moses Sani will be joining us very soon. Prince Crippler will be joining us. And of course, Edwin Farmer, our man, George Kennedy. My name is sick. He's still under the weather. He's not feeling too well. And of course, our prayers are out to him. That's it. So tonight, just be there because we are right here. Very shortly, we'll open the lines as usual. We'll always avail you the opportunity so that you make your calls, express your feelings, express how you feel about issues. Only thing, just be civil. Don't use invectives. Don't insult. Just is it maybe about the economy or about the roads or about the government's performance or about community issues, about women issues, human rights? Let's hear from you. What is it that's popping on your mind, that you can talk about tonight? 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-050507. Again, better still, 0886-050507. Or our alternative line, 0776-540-987. Again, 0776-540-987. Want to hear from you. What is it on your mind? What does he want to talk about? The government is listening. We have a listening. Yes. Is it the harmonization? Is it about, water supply? Is it about roads? Is it about some basic social services? Let's hear from you. We want to hear from you. I'm sure you have something on your mind that you want to talk about. Let me try to introduce my panelists quickly. David Benedictus Erasmus Namutawe, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabot, and good evening to all our listeners and followers. Let me say hi to Moses Sandy, Prince Crippler, and Josh Kennedy, who's still under the weather. I'd like to also say good evening to Edwin.
Edwin, the man saying good evening, man.
Well, thank you. Good evening to you too, David. To you, Mr. George. We're always glad to be here, so that we can serve our people the information that they need, whatever analysis that we can make to be able to better their understanding about the happenings in our country and beyond. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sure Moses is not on yet. Not Prince Crippler. Again, let's just acquaint you with what is coming up tonight. We'll be talking about the government's decision announced yesterday by the Minister of Information, distancing the government from the town demolition exercise. And of course, the government said it was a court order. And so the court, carried out its function. But in the same vein, we saw the chair of the party that has the government in place, the chairman, Reverend Ludo Tape, around the town. And of course, we understand that he donated some 800,000. So what is really going on? With the chair being there And the government is saying, well, we don't know nothing about that. What's happening? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that tonight. And also, I'm sure you heard about the Supreme Court, right? The court summoned Prophet Key for insulting and abusing the courts. But you know, Prophet Key, he's been around. You know, there were individuals who fell victims to Prophet Key's conduct. You know, at the time they tried to take it to court, Prophet Key, there was some intervention from the higher ups, and later on, Prophet Key surreptitiously left the country. We'll talk about that tonight. Also, you know, what makes reducing the impact of harmonization contentious? You know, since the Minister of Finance said we are trying to reverse harmonization, in fact, we've succeeded at the GAC, at the courts, the Supreme Court, and the judiciary, at the LCC. There have been a lot of noise, individuals say, well, it's not possible. It can happen. But what makes it contentious? When the government is trying to reduce the impact of the harmonization. We'll talk about that tonight. Also, please take this call. Also, tonight we'll be looking at the situation at the Banga prison. You know, we understand it's going out of control. The prisoners there are in serious predicament. You know, we'll talk about that. What's happening? You know, what's really happening? Is it that the sector responsible to empower financially that prison, is that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, or what's happening? We'll try to discuss that tonight. So please, the lines are open. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Or better still, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. You know, we're taking calls up to 8:15 tonight. We want you to state what's on your mind, what's troubling you, what is of concern to you. What is it that you want the government to do that the government is not doing? Or what is it that you want from your community leadership? Or maybe the health sector. We want to talk about the health sector. What is it on your mind? Let's hear from you. It's your opportunity. Sometimes we talk until we don't give you the opportunity to chip in. But this time around, we'll try to open the lines for you at the onset of the program so that you can be able, to state what is on your mind. Liberia is our country. It's our only common denominator. Gone are the days that we had problem with each other, and of course, when the butch and took arms. No, this time around, we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about Liberia. We're going to talk about Liberia. We're going to criticize. We're going to critique it. We're going to condemn until we can get the appropriate things done. So it's your turn, tonight to speak on the nighttime heat. Again, just share the show. Want to share tonight's show? Share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight. Let's try to see what we can speak with this caller quickly. Good evening. Oh, good evening. Oh, the caller is off the line. 0776 778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. That's the number to call. Or better still, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Or the alternative line, 0776 540 987. Is your term to put in your course and speak on what is on your mind. Speak to what is on your mind. We want to hear from you. What is of interest to you? What is it that you got on your mind that's troubling you? Let's take this first caller quickly. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Lamatama Akwe from Bapuru.
From Bapuru. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, what is on my mind is that the constitution of Liberia and that of the representative and senator, they are the ones keeping the country down. Because their salary are determined by themselves. So it is very frustrating for one man making 60,000, 70,000 US, government buy for the 5,000 US car. It is practically going to be hard. We want to compare the country, go Ghana, go Africa, go this, but what get the car?
Hello? Hello? I think he went off the air. Let's take another call quickly. 0778 460 And it is true, I saw the presidential convoy of the Ghanaian president, and I was shocked. I said, is it the in fact, I didn't even believe it until the commentator said it is the president of Ghana coming. And he got down a very small vehicle. I said, what thing? It can be true. And we'll talk about all those things, and we have to go further. We have to advance. Our country will have to make progress at time. Well, let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yes, I'm Lord.
Hello? Hello?
The lines are bad.
Hello?
Yeah, the network is very
bad. I don't know what's happening. Is it the orange and I don't know what's happening.
The orange network.
It's troubling. And if someone was just trying to call again and they couldn't come through. 07. Okay, let's take this call quickly. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly.
Yes, I'm Lord Kimaya, speaking from Virginia.
Let's hear from you, sir.
I have a little concern about democracy and our people's understanding about how government functions are.
Mm-hmm.
The networking.
Hello?
On an eviction. Again, before we have a question of senior properties, we should get through our legal counsel, and before we station a building, we should have gone through the Ministry of Public.
Oh, wow. Hello?
When times come, there are.
Hello?
The lines are bad this afternoon.
If you want to acquire.
Comes on and go off.
The lines are terrible. They are terrible tonight. Okay. Wow, we can keep in on the line. We'll try again. Let's announce numbers. If the calls are continuing like that, we'll have to just discontinue. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Better still 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Better still, our alternative line 0776 540-987. Again, 0776 540-987. That's the numbers to call. And of course, and speak to issues concerning to you. What it's about the democracy, what it's about governance, what it's about security and the economy or the roads or some basic social services. Just speak your mind. This is our country. We have to speak. And it's good that we have listening leaders, leaders who are always listening to take corrections. Just speak your mind. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you quickly. 0778 460 793. Again, 0886 050507. The lines are still troubling. I don't know what's happening to Orange. I'm sure it's Orange and Lone Star.
I've experienced it with Orange mostly this afternoon.
Wow.
Even the internet is buffers. You call, it's just going off and on. Yeah.
Well, that's the country we have. But gentlemen, let me just discontinue this quickly, and then we can get into our discussion. First, we have to know as what's on our mind. Let's try this one. If it can go through, then we can. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Lamatama. I'm calling from Bapuru County.
Okay, let's hear from you.
That's the same guy.
Yeah, my question has to do with the honor development of the country here. The Constitution is playing a major part. Because the Constitution gives the right to lawmakers to determine their own salary. Can you imagine one person earning over 16,000 US, they got 77 any less than 200 to 300 US? So the constitution, we're going to do sure amendment on the constitution to make sure that the citizens who are the one voting for lawmakers should be the one that determines the salary of lawmaker. They can get one person making 60,000, 70,000 US, they get all the other citizens going to pay Ongo. And let's say not even less than $5 or not even $1 US, they can even get their own SP. It is not frustrating. Why should it be like this?
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that. I know those who are listening, who are in authority, they are listening. Let's take this other call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Yeah, Emmanuel TV.
Okay, email. Let's hear from you quickly.
Tell him to lower you.
My contribution to that, or what's on my mind to that, would be on the party folks. I think the issue of a prophet being rude or misleading people who put their in. Or prophet is short term and actually easy and taking to court.
Wow, the lines, man. The lines are.
On record, on interview, where he said that Prophet Q was exercising his freedom of speech. In fact, he referred it as the law to the Agra Kamara Act. They also referred to the 2018 Act that guarantee free speech. I think he was one of those that supported the misbehavior of Prophet Q or the true attitude of Prophet Q.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll take only two more calls quickly. 0778-460-793. It's almost 820. 0776 540 793. Better say 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793 or 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the program at 8:20. We start our discussion, and of course, we'll run up to 10 or 15 tonight. 0778 460 793 or better still 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Let's take this caller. Good evening. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the show, brother. This is Edward Esmendley and Joe and I tomorrow. So, I don't know, but the last time I checked, the World Library best channel that we can post on the date of Star Radio or to ALBT or to Crack. If you on the radio and somebody will call and provide the information, I think you have to provide education. There's nowhere, no more that any lawmaker in library making 15,000 or 70,000 US. Everybody know the homogenization took place. 100% we are. All to it down. If I tend to have making people 8,000 plus, we then making people 5,000 to 6,000. So if somebody call a and say we are making 12,000 or 15,000, 13,000, you provide it's not true. It's not true. And sometimes people say only people to provide clarity, but you can say a lot of market continue that. And this is a real station. Everybody can be careful about putting the year on the radio.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Many thanks. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Or better still, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. What does Prince say? 0778 460 793. Okay. So let's pause. It's 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. Dave, let's begin with you. What is it on your mind? What's trending? What you want to talk about before we can go into our major discussions?
I read something on the social media, and there was the police statement on announcement that any, pedestrian walking in the streets and not using or crossing the street and not using the crosswalks, that person will be fined. That person will be fined. And look, my point here is that many of the drivers I've observed, private commercial drivers, they haven't stayed understood the purpose of the crosswalks. Even when the person is on the crosswalk, I've experienced that so many times, they're still driving towards you. You have to sometimes salute them or wave them down. But to know that a crosswalk, the purpose of a crosswalk is to allow people to cross the streets at a particular time. And people can be using the crosswalk as a driver who should know better. And, a driver who should know better, they should know all the traffic rules. Somebody's on the crosswalk, you start driving towards them. So I think the police should need to create these awareness. All their drivers should know all the street signs and the issue of the crosswalk.
Okay.
So what happens to a driver who drives towards a pedestrian on the sidewalk and knocks the person down? So the police needs to also create that kind of awareness, or let the drivers, most of the commercial drivers, go back to the driving school and learn these street signs and all that.
Okay. Yes.
So
Edwin?
I would have loved to just respond to some of the callers, basically as to what they said. The guy who talks about the members of the legislature making SYC amount of money, I think someone rightly corrected him, in as much as they don't make that amount, but our lawmakers are among some of the best paid in the sub-region, whether we like it or not, because some of us have been to other countries like Ghana. We've interacted with some of these lawmakers and know exactly how much they make. Also, there's this whole issue. Someone tried to talk about the issue of this whole demolition exercise and the way people are, acquiring land here. I think there are major challenges in the way people acquire land.
And we have a
here, right?
topic on that, right?
No, I'm just trying to respond to that caller. I think we need to have a whole seminar, as to how we deal with these issues. But back to David's issues, I also saw that press statement today, and a few things that came to my mind. Now, if you're saying that if you catch a driver who doesn't have a
license,
a valid driving license, you're going to find out what, 1,000 or 1,000?
Is it $5,000?
$5,000.
United dollars.
First of all, you need to make sure a driver,
A
yes.
driver, that is
Why
not.
you didn't drop that press statement in the chat room?
Now, the police need to make sure that all of the apparatus are working properly, because if a driver goes to the Ministry of Transport to get a driver license, and it takes him 2-3 months,
and there's the hurdles.
do you expect him to park his car to his house and be walking until he gets a driver license? Even to get a license plate in this country is a whole hurdle. So, people don't just come with these things and just put it out there. We're not against these things, but we have to make sure that the system is put in place so that if someone woke up today and go to the Ministry of Transport and paid for his driving license and paid for his license plate, he gets it right away. Then you can now start putting these things in place. But even as we speak right now, there is a serious conflict between the Liberia,
Transport something.
Transport, who's supposed to issue license plate. Those things have not even been settled here.
Yeah.
And then the police coming up with this kind of a frivolous press statement and saying that you'll be charging people $5,000 or they will go to jail for 1 year, 6 months. Those things are that's not how you try to instill the law in the country. If the system doesn't work, you don't expect the citizens to bend over to make sure that it works. This one, I think the police got it totally wrong.
Yeah, totally wrong. Even the fines are exorbitant. And how you find
and the
a
Constitution
police,
even talks
driver
about
5,000.
excess punishment or excess fine. You cannot be fining people 5,000, 1,500
Not commercial
US
over
dollars.
the
No,
crime they committed.
it is not.
So then I wonder whether that press statement was shown to the Inspector General.
Well, Sabo, you
What he knows about that?
Sabo, that is absolutely impossible for a statement to come from the police, for the police station or the headquarters of the Liberia National Police to file the Inspector General having an idea of such a release, such a statement. So, quite frankly, he's aware. I don't think
Because the reason why I ask, he's being a very trained and professional, well educated, to see such a press statement and escalating fines in that faction, and allow that to go to the public. And that's my disappointment, and that's the reason why I don't think he saw that precedent. I want to believe they didn't see that precedent.
Anyway, let me not dispute what he's saying. It's like there's a likelihood that somebody just wrote it and put it out there. But if I find it difficult to believe that he doesn't have such a major policy he's introduced.
Because for the police
you
to
remember
say,
the jaywalking thing of Jote at that time, jaywalking of pedestrians. That they would be fined. That jaywalking, even up to now, I haven't understood what it meant.
I know,
but there was something like jaywalking in the street, the Jote time, and now it's another one about the crossing. The
license,
using a crosswalk, or a driver having a fraudulent license. That driver has to be fined $5,000.
So what is it? Where is the driver taking the $5,000 for?
Yes, I think that.
And that's the reason why I
Or go
said,
to jail for 6 months.
I'll go to jail for 6 months just for having a
I don't think
driver license.
I don't think the SG saw that press statement, because he's and like I said again, I can beat my chest. He's well educated, experienced, he's been in the force for quite a long time. I don't think he saw that press statement, because he knows that it's not logical. It's not reasonable.
In spite of people's education, sometimes they have oversight. People make mistakes. People have, they're not infallible sometimes. And sometimes what they see as being right is wrong. It's totally wrong. And at the end of the day, they can realize it. But I doubt it. I doubted that the police inspector general is not aware of this statement. We're talking about the issue of license, fraudulent license.
Because why would you want to find
a driver
$5,000
for
not
carrying a fraudulent?
That $5,000 could buy the man another taxi.
Another taxi to run it.
No, I don't.
So what does a driver, a commercial driver, or even a private?
I think it was a makeup. It was a makeup release. It was a makeup release.
So anyway, let's wait and see.
I don't think.
I believe that
the police can enforce that
in the coming days. Police will make some, make some corrections or speak on that.
Okay, gentlemen, let's try to play a tape by the Minister of Information. Yesterday, he held his regular MICAT briefing, and he addressed the issue of the demolition. And we understand from the news that he distanced the government from such demolition. And of course, he said it was a court's order, and the president has absolutely nothing. But let's try to listen to the tape, and we'll discuss it as to how we understand it.
About it when I was not here on Tuesday, and that is the demolition exercise that took place in Safetown. Which is a direct result of the workings of our judicial process. The government is structured into 3 separate, independent, coordinated branches of government. One branch of the government cannot interfere with or dictate to the workings of the other. Secondly, when people have grievances in the country, they establish medium through which they can resolve those grievances. It's a court system. So any of you here who will feel aggrieved by anything someone does to you, the only solution you have to that grievance is the court of law. And when the court of law acts, neither the executive nor the legislative branches of the government can get involved and say, this decision of the court, sorry to say, it's nonsense. Don't pay attention to it. You can run a society like that. So the Safetown land issue, of course, was a matter that was adjudicated by the court, and the court's ruling was executed. It was not a President Walker decision. It was not even necessarily the government of Liberia decision. It was the outcome of a judicial process. One reason why I'm still talking about this, even though I know Daniel spoke about it, is how some of us who say we are national leaders will look for anything to exploit, even if it plunges the country into chaos. We don't care. And that's dangerous. Some of the individual national leaders who are attempting to politicize the outcome of a judicial process are lawyers. And then again, there are lawyers who don't respect what the court system represents. One of them said, it is being mean-spirited to break down people's houses with no relocation plan. The government of Liberia, one of the executive, did not wake up one morning and say, we want to go seize a particular area that people are living, and we are supposed to plan for those people's relocation before. They went to court. Some of them, the political parties they are associated with, had the headquarters demolished. Why? The result of a court ruling. Now you politicize a court action that granted somebody their property. Where else could people go if not? Every people that decided on something, what else is supposed to be done? One of the overthrown lawmakers says, in the name of politics, that if you were a former president, this, you would not have executed a court order. So then it tells you where the country was, one of those people. That they will have no regards for the court system. That they will have no regard for the rule of law. That the court can decide this is a decision and they will tell the court to deal with it. Such a nation that will be run that way is just a step away from total chaos and anarchy. And this government will not countenance anything that will promote chaos and anarchy. We'll continue to see the court as the place to seek redress, and we believe that all of our citizens should continue to respect the outcomes of judicial processes. Just want to make that very crystal clear.
Okay.
And for those who are trying to politicize these judicial issues, stop it. It does not represent
Okay. All right.
branches of government.
Okay. I think that's the Minister of Information. Let me welcome Prince Kwepla before we can begin to discuss it. Prince, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sobo. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay.
Say hi to Liberians, and I'm sorry for coming late. Technical.
Yeah, no problem, Prince. At least you are on. Gentlemen, we just listened to the Minister of Information, and he was clear when he distanced the government or the president from the demolition that took place at the Say Town. But is it what people are talking about? Are people blaming the government for the demolition? Or are people saying why the government could not make some intervention as it was done before in the past under the administration of former President Sirleaf? But let's hear from you, Dave, because we all talk about that. What's your takeaway from what the Minister of Information said?
The first thing, Sobo, people have the right to their properties. Most especially, it's sensitive issue of land. People have the right to their properties. And they feel that those rights are trampled upon in terms of encroachment, They take the due course of the law. And the matter we're talking about here is a private land we're talking about. A private landowner who filed a lawsuit against people who he or she felt were occupying a piece of land and went to court. And I'm just wondering why people are bringing the government into a private land dispute. This is not the first time. It happened the last time when CDC had a similar problem. And people expected that the government to, interfere with an order of demolition from the high court or from a court. And people expect, so I don't know where the link comes from. People say, oh, the government should supposed to have intervened. Had the government intervened again and say, oh, overturn the court's order or ruling, and people say, oh,
No,
the
Tagba,
gov-
let me hold you there. Let me
Yeah,
hold you there.
yeah,
Intervention doesn't mean tampering or stopping the court
So
from coming. No,
intervention
no,
in what
I'm
form?
coming now.
Uh-huh,
Intervention doesn't mean that.
uh-huh.
Tagba, you can intervene by calling the two parties to a dialogue. Say, look,
When in fact the
I'm
matter is
coming,
before the
Tagba.
court. No,
I'm
no, no,
coming.
someone, no.
No.
Someone.
Hold there. Tagba,
So, no.
you
So,
spoke.
what I'm
You
saying
spoke
is that
and I allow you to
a
learn.
matter that in court, the executive
Go
needs to
ahead.
call the parties.
If possible,
to a
in
meeting?
the interest of your people, Tagba. Isn't that possible? It happened under a former president. Okay, let me hold you there. You've already given us your takeaway.
That's
So
the position, anyway.
let's hear from
Well,
Edwin.
Well, one thing I think David said, the issue of property ownership is a constitutional issue. So that one you cannot
Rule it out.
rule it out. And people are also entitled to that property. Once they genuinely purchase it and they have a title to it, they actually, are the legitimate owners. Now, when you go to court, what the court look at is title. And within our jurisprudence, the oldest title suffices in most of these legal cases or so. Now, so if you went to court, David and I are contesting on the property. We all got it from the same gun.
Please speak to the microphone. Yeah.
David and I are probably contesting the same property, and we probably got it from the same grantor, or maybe the person who sold the property to me was David's father, and maybe after the old man passed, David also ran and sold that property to another person. Now, when we go to court, the court is supposed to look at the mother deed and then determine who was the first person that actually purchased this property. So if the court is going to adjudicate this matter, it has to be who has the oldest deeds. Now, like one of the callers said here, I think there are a lot of challenges in the ownership of land in this country, how we deal with this whole land issue. We need to start revising it and actually taking proper care, because when you go to buy land, it's not just you're going to just take money to give it to somebody. You should hire a lawyer who will be able to go into details to do a background check of that land to make sure that everything that you who are actually granting that land, you actually have legal title to it. Now, the reason why most people blaming the government with the SETA issue, I think it's basically on humanitarian grounds. That you have people, you have older folks that have been, made homeless, in as much as what the court has shown that the land did not belong to them, it belongs to the persons who purchased it at this point in time, which is Mr. Eric Nangbe. The court has granted him possession of that particular property based on the evidence that was adduced in court. So I think what a lot of people were saying, because of the humanitarian grounds, the government could have come in to say, look, you know what, look, if we take out these eviction actions, it's going to affect thousands of people. There are kids in school, there are older folks here who have nowhere to go. Why don't we find a way to discuss it? Because the court has already adjudicated this whole process. Now, it would have also been left down with Mr. Nangbe to listen to the government and say, okay, I will agree or I will not agree. But I think, like the minister said, it was between two private parties. What I don't know at which point in time the government itself, came in the picture or got to know that this demolition exercise was about to go on. So again, you can't blame the government 100%, but on humanitarian ground, the government would have maybe find a way to, to work around this so that this amount of people do not suffer what they're now suffering.
Okay, let's hear from you, Prince Crippler. Your take on or your takeaway from what you heard from the Minister of Information.
So the first thing, Sobo, that we need to clearly spell is that we are not against development. We are not against the rule of law. We believe the rule of law should be a fundamental guide to our governance process. The private citizen land is being trampled upon when the court granted to them. We think it should be respected. But however, I don't think we should narrow the conversation to just Satan, because we got a series of demolition exercises that are unfolding and taking place in the country where thousands of people are being victimized, including demolition being carried on by the government herself under the guise of doing development, building roads. The government is not providing wrap to these various citizens whose properties are being demolished. That tells you how insensitive the government is. And we can underscore the Satan one as being a private land, which the government does not have control over. But what about the demolition exercise unfolding right now at Springfield? Is it not the government that is demolishing people's properties there? The road construction the city doing? Government is instituted for the good of the people. When thousands of people's homes are being demolished on the basis of in-court order, it should claim the attention of the government. That's what we are saying. That's the sensitive thing that the government must do, that she is very insensitive to. Because the government policy is not about the ordinary people. The government policy is not about the poor people. It's about the rich. It's about the elite class. That's why they're not concerned. The government was able to resuscitate SRB Bank with $8 million just in few months of the government taking over when SRB was facing financial difficulty. Was it the government that caused financial difficulty for FRB Bank? No, it was not the government. But why did they give $8 million to SRB Bank to resuscitate SRB Bank? Why can the same government who gave SRB Bank whooping $8 million find at least $300,000, $500,000, or $1 million to get her citizens who are now homeless from the streets? People sleeping in trucks, people sleeping on the dew, they're getting sick every day. But they constituted a government. The Constitution said a sovereign government is constituted by the people. The very people who constituted this very government, the government is not being used in the interest of the people, but rather they're using the government to benefit private sector institutions who have whooping millions of dollars. I mean, This is sad for our friend Edwin and Moses. I mean, to be making these kind of statements. It's unfair to our people.
Okay, so again, we discuss this in totality. Dave and Edwin, I don't think Crippler said, and that's the thinking of many people. I don't think anybody will be against a private citizen taking ownership of his property, but for the sake of the vast majority, because if you look at the reason for which a government was constituted, it's for the people, to protect the lives of the people, to better the lives of the people. So if a government can say, "Oh, because has it not happened before? Courts have rendered its judgment, and government went in and said, look, for the sake of our people, let's see how we can sit around the table." You know what's happening at those individuals? But here we are. Let's look at the second dimension to it. The government has come up to say, look, we distance ourselves from what is happening, which is nobody's blaming President Boyka or blaming the government. It's reality. But again, in the past, before even the CDC administration came, there was this situation. And again, intervention was made. But while it is true now, Dave, that the government is saying, look, we are not part of what is happening. Just quite recently, we heard about the chairman of the ruling Unity Party, the party that has the government ruling, went to the community where the demolition took place, a town, spoke with the people there, and even offer assistance to the legal effort of the people. The party chair. So what is happening, Dave? Let's hear from you.
You know, so that dismisses Kripla's claim that the government is insensitive to. This is a ruling party whose chairman has gone or had gone to sympathize with victims of the demolition that Prince is talking about, and give them assistance and even offer them to, though it is his own government. He's the chairman of the ruling power of the ruling government party. He visited them and offer a legal advice, or even offer some cash in assistance. Then Kripal says the government is insensitive. Okay. He said, for the government...
No,
you're always doing this to me. Let me learn. No. I disagree, Sabo.
I'll respond to you too.
I'm not afraid of responses. The thing here is, look, Sabo, then Prince said that a government is formed for the common good of the people. You have communities that people have constructed structures and that even fire truck does not have access in case of fire. So if government says structures are in the alleyway, the government is cleaning them. I don't think the government just got up one morning and just start breaking people's homes down. I don't think so. There were procedures, there were meetings, there were consultations before even demolition. You're talking about in La Paz or FE, wherever it is taking place on the Mambo Town. How do you call the place on the FE, the latest Roto Town? They had meetings, they had conversations, they had discussions. The government did not get up one morning and just went to Roto Town and start demolishing houses. What's about the issue of paving the way for fire truck to have access to communities?
We brought to no. That's the reason why I was trying to hold to.
And, you know,
we ask you
that's
about
a common good of the people.
We ask you about the intervention, about the visitation of the chairman of the ruling Unity Party.
Is there anything wrong with that?
That's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have asking you, what's your takeaway? Government has come out to say, look, we are not part of that. We don't know anything about that. Now the chairman of the party that has the government in power had gone there and offer to assist the people with any sort of legal effort. Now, why is it coming late now?
They are playing politics.
Yeah, I'm coming. When it should have come up since before the demolition. Why is the party chair now coming up after the poor have already lost their properties? You have gone there offering $800,000 and even offering to give them legal. What is it coming late now?
It's better late than never. Besides that, the chairman went there to show solidarity with the people.
Let me welcome Moses.
The ruling party is not a government.
Yeah, okay. Please, let's welcome Moses. Moses, welcome to the program.
Government, it is good to be back. I've been having a technical glitch. I was having problem with the link, but it is good to be here. Very interesting discussion, and if I could just add my voice to what Mr. Tyson said. Oh, okay, all right. So it's really a pleasure to be here. Yeah, thank you.
So to my brother Prince, I don't think I say anything different than what he said. You know,
we are not discussing Prince.
Yes, I know that. No, but he called my name. He called my name and said, we've been insensitive. And I said clearly here, I said, for humanitarian reason, the government would have come in because thousands of your citizens would have been made homeless.
Okay, so let's try to connect.
Yes.
Now, the visitation of the chair.
No. Again, so that speaks for the humanitarian aspect of what has happened, right? And I said it again the other day.
The question is, I know you're talking about humanitarian. Don't you think this intervention, this humanitarian intervention you're making reference to, that you believe the visitation of the chairman had carried there to the people? Don't you think that would have come out earlier before the demolition? That's the question.
Again, then you ask yourself, when did this matter come to the attention of the government or to the chairman? Because if the matter is in court and nobody from the community reached out to the chairman or to the government, the court has passed a ruling. And like I said, the other night, their lawyer also was under obligations to take a appeal to the Supreme Court. He didn't do that because we have not seen any kind of a ruling from the Supreme Court. They accepted that ruling and the process went on.
Let's forget about
So
that lawyer.
the demolition is now going on.
Are you insinuating? I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm coming, Prince.
Yes.
Are you insinuating that the chairman of the ruling Unity Party heard about this lately?
It could
Is
have,
that what you're saying?
it's 100% possible.
Are you being honest with what you're saying?
It's 100% possible because this is a private property.
Let's go there. Prince, you can come in quickly and then we can go to Moses.
So, but agree with assuming we want to agree with formula without admitting that it is truth. The government did not know about the court ruling about the Satan situation. If it is not this, if it is not the policy of this government to not have interest in issues that affect the livelihood of our citizens, what about those demolitions the government herself carrying on? For instance,
Do you want me to answer
the
that?
AFL taking over the 72nd barrack. People are being evicted. The Rototown FE scenario we're just talking about, homes are being demolished. Are you saying that the very government who is carrying on this exercise is not aware of this? Absolutely no. It is the government policy not to care for her people and to just do anything she wants to do. If the government had care, the first thing before you do a road, what are people illegally squatting to the point where the road is being done, or they are legally there?
Now, Prince, let me hold you there. Prince, let me hold you there. We're trying to go off tangent. Let me hold you there. What we are saying, the government has distanced itself from the demolition.
For the
Satan demolition.
Yeah.
Even the chairman of the government that's in power, the chairman of the party owns the government. I mean, that we can
100%.
we can dispute that. That we knows. The party owns the government. The chairman of the party paid a visit.
That's a humanitarian
I'm
result there.
coming now. No,
That's
that's
a public saving. The
Okay.
public crowd calls the chairman to come out to save face politically. That's not being genuine about solving the problems. That is not it. The United Party chairman knew that what the government is doing, the government is proceeding wrongly, and they want to save face with the citizens who could punish them tomorrow in 2029. That's
Okay, so let's go there.
the United Party chairman went to do. Simple.
Let's go there. Do you think? Let me begin with you, Moses. The chairman went there and offered, some $800,000, and even offered to help with the legal, battle, of the citizens. Now, a chairman of a party now taking the stance to help the citizens or the residents take the owner of the property to court. Moses, what are you reading there?
Well, by reading into that, the chairman of the ruling party saying that, look, first, as a political party, we empathize with your situation. That's plausible. But to say, hey, we will stand with you in the legal defense, that could be interpreted that, hey, something went wrong. As a political party, we are opposed to the action that was taken against you. And we will stand with you in this matter legally to come to a legal conclusion. That would be my reading into it. Now, I would like for us to distinguish the two situations here. One, the situation in Satan is a civil matter involving what? Private citizens. And we have another situation involving government using what they call eminent domain, tearing down structures because the government wants to erect structures, build roads, or make some improvement in those communities. So if we were to look at the government using eminent domain to tear down, I would say that the government has not done enough to really provide the needed support, because even though the government has the power, the government has the resources, but the government, are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yes, go ahead.
The government is under obligation to ensure that before the structures of those people were broken down, the government should have put in place the necessary mechanism for relocation. Relocation. Even though you're giving these people, you're buying them off, you're paying them off, but the relocation process should have taken place first with prior notices. Now, look, we gave you the next 7 months, or look, the LTRPRC will help to resettle people in these communities, in other places. And if people fail to act, then you execute. But from what I'm seeing, the videos that are coming out, it seems that people are waking up in the morning and they are told to leave. That doesn't show empathy on the side of the government. And you heard the president, and that was very mean on the part of the president when he went to someone the second. He said, God is not making new land. If I'm quoting him directly, it was me. The president was being insensitive. It is true that people went and encroach on government property. But Mr. President, you need to work with the people. We didn't see that. And lastly, if I could close, the Satan situation is a private matter. We cannot put that on the lap of the government. The man went to court. He won the case in court. And the government is under obligation to enforce the laws of the country. Someone will say, well, the government needed to intervene, yes. But if that did not happen, we also cannot say that the government is responsible for that.
Okay, let's go here.
Thank you.
Dave, do you agree with him when he said that relative to the statement the president made concerning the AFL, the military-linked eviction, the president was insensitive? Do you agree with him?
Well, I wouldn't agree with Finn, but
In
I
totality?
agree with him partially.
Okay.
I agree with him partially that because the president, as a father of the land, should always have a sympathetic, mind, most especially in the issue of the how they call it, the Satan, right? And the military barracks in 72nd. The citizens had no damn right of occupying a military place for so many years. And when the military got ready for the land, they asked the people that I understand that's been a long time they've been talking about. They're leaving the place. I understand they left first and they returned. So the government wants the military wants the barracks. The military wants the barracks. So they need to leave. But I don't know what agreement in terms of compensation. But the president's statement, I don't think it was appropriate. The fact that people are aggrieved and it sounds like you're being sarcastic about their situation, that God is not making lands again. I think that was inappropriate.
Okay.
In all fairness.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Because saying that
Edwin.
people were already agreed.
Well, for me, I disagree with the issue, of the president's statement. And let me say this.
You don't think that sounded insensitive?
No, I don't think so. And let me say this, right? For far too long, Liberians had this lackadaisical behavior. They will know that the property belongs to the government. They will know that they're building in the alleyway, and they will construct it. And somebody will come out and say, when the government ready, I will move, or they will pay me. And we need to reach to a point where we stop it. Somebody talking about Rototown. That entire belt, that's the airport. Definitely those places were not meant for people to go and inhabit those places. People building massive structures along the route. God forbid if there's a disaster in that area, if there's some aviation disaster, their lives will be lost. And nobody will come and play politics and say, oh, no, you know what? The government should have make sure that people are not living there and blah, blah, blah. Look, there is a scenario here where, in fact, I was speaking to a lady today from the Ministry of Information. We had the same conversation, and she talks about the Kinaja property, where President Salif had to relocate Kinaja, I think somewhere in the Marshall Belt, where the government bought almost 30 acres of land. The land is there, demarcated. The people know that the land belongs to the government. They went there and started building huge structures on this property. The Ministry of Information went there and said, look, we need to use this property. This property belongs to government. However, since you guys have already built on 20 acres, there is a remaining 10 acres. Some investor wanted to come and build a cultural village from Korea. As soon as they heard that these people were coming to build, they started building on a balance 10 acres of land. And then you want the government should go again and compensate them and say your move.
So you don't agree that the statement made by the president?
I don't agree.
Okay.
No. Now, at a point in time, we need to get straight with our people. Let's leave the politics.
Gentlemen, let's look at the Moses and the rest of you. Let's look at the political implication.
But Soba, why you don't want to ask me what are the?
Let's hear from you. I just forgot that you were on. Let's hear from you relative to the president's statement.
But anyway, I'm not surprised by the president's insensitive statement. In fact, that was one of the least insensitive statements coming from this very president. He has been very insensitive from the very get-go of the administration. So I'm not surprised by that. But
can you excuse me, Crippler?
What is important?
Crippler. When you're trying to historicize the president's statement I made recently, can you cite instances where you thought he didn't sound human?
So the president was asked about the former president using the VIP lodge, and his statement was very dismissive. Very dismissive before.
How did he say that?
What was that statement?
He said the VIP lodge is for VIPs. I mean, I can vividly state it clearly, because some of those things I wouldn't want to say them as an individual, as a refined person. But I thought the president was not refined enough. The other thing is that when the Capitol building got burned, when he went at the legislature asking about the burning of the Capitol building, the president's statement was not a statement that should come from a statement as a president. So I have always followed the president. He have always been very dismissive about issues. So it's not surprising to me. But here's my main point that I want to strike. Mm-hmm. My main point I want to strike here is I listened to Edwin talk about, the property for Satan is privately owned, but it is a global best practice. On the 72nd barrack, we agree that the place is for the soldiers. On the other properties, the one before the Springfield, he talked about the rates to the people. If the government wants to remove people because of the rates, the best practice is to sit with those people, find an alternative means or alternative source of livelihood for them. It have happened across the world with different presidents, but if we come back to Liberia, when the red land market was being removed, Ominga market was built.
So this is a replacement
to red land market.
Look back at
when roads were being constructed.
It's a contradiction.
When you want to listen to me, when you speak, nobody.
Can you please give? Mr. Tugman, can you just allow the man to speak?
Every time I speak,
allow the guy to speak.
that is wrong.
Go ahead.
Do that. My point I'm making is that it is a global best practice all around the world. Whether you are doing things for the good of the people, you must think about what's the essence of these developments for the good of the people. So what good does it make to remove the people that's sleeping in the darkness under the bad weather, they're getting sick, and then you say you're creating opportunity for them? That is wrong. The government must sit with those people, find a means as alternative for them before you remove them. That's what happened all around the world. No international group will put money in the roads that are being done where the people are being, moved from the place where are being compensated, we are giving rap.
Okay.
No international organization will give them money for that because that's not a best practice.
You made your point, gentlemen. We have
and so quickly let me just beg to default with Edwin. The role of government is to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The underprivileged, children, the elderly, and those who lack the means to protect themselves. That's the role of government, is to protect those people. In this situation, what the government could have done with the situation in 72nd and other places where the government is now using eminent domain, put in place mechanism that will make this a smooth process. You are talking about human lives. That's what we call failure to act.
Let me respond to him here.
Failure to act. That's what we call neglect. You talk about the government securing 50 acres of land, and government sat back and allow people to encroach on that land. When you fail to act, you hold yourself accountable. When the people started encroaching on the Ministry of Information property in Marshall, the government was under the obligation to start that immediately. Edwin talked about people building in other ways. Do you have a structure in government? I mean, do you have a structure in Liberia?
Of course we do.
When did the government start holding people accountable? When did you start enforcing certain ordinances in our country?
Now the government is being criticized, so there's a contradiction.
No, listen. Yeah, so I am saying,
the ordinances now.
Okay, guys, I am basically saying that the government failed to do what it needed to do. When people were building in the alleyway, what did the government do? Absolutely nothing.
I'd like to respond to
No, you respond later.
So let me respond to Moses and quickly to my brother Prince. You know, let me say this. You know, we can bring all the sentiments out here. You know, we can say whatever we want to say. And Moses, you keep using the wrong word. The government is not using eminent domain. Eminent domain is basically a private property that the government wants to use for the better good of the citizens, a private property. So government has the authority to come out and say, Moses Sandy, I'm going to use your property, but I'm going to pay you this value, the actual value of that property. So if you use the word eminent domain, it doesn't suffice in this case. The properties that we're talking about belongs to the government. The 72nd barracks belong to the Ministry of Defense. So that's not eminent domain in that case. It's just the government coming to claim its property. Now, let's go back to the issue of alleyways. Most time, and we all see it here, people start building properties. The Ministry of Public Works come and mark that property. And they still go ahead and build the property in any way. It is not because at that point in time, the government that is in power do not see the need to go and open that alleyway. It means that you have the right to build there. At the end of the day, if the government wants to make use of that particular alleyway, the government will come and open it. Now,
the bad tendency that both Prince and Moses are trying to put forward here is to allow people to keep bailing in this alleyway, blocking the alleyways, and whenever government wants to come to build rules to open these access way, government have to pay people. Do you know how much money government will have to spend? We need to stop this. The best that we need to do is to educate our people that once there's an alleyway, you do not build in the alleyway.
Okay.
Now, there was a major accident in Dupont Road one time where a whole family got killed. The only reason why that happened because the fire trucks would not reach into that area. But there are alleyways there, but people build on those alleyways.
Okay, let's hold you there.
But no, so but let me correct Edwin quickly, please. I beg you. Let me just correct Edwin. Edwin,
Yeah.
let me correct you. I use the word eminent domain,
Mhm.
and you are a lawyer in training.
Your word.
Yes, which means that when government chooses to use private property
Yes.
for national development,
But that's the same thing I said.
my man, listen. Allow me to speak.
I listened to him, but he said he want to correct me. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just allow me to speak.
Okay.
Some of the properties we're making reference to here
Mhm.
are private properties.
The
Some
ones
of the
that
properties, my man, allow me, let me complete now. The properties in Douala, some of the properties in Rotterdam are not public properties. They
But
are
where are they?
private. Where, my man, allow me now. Why can't you allow me to speak? Are private properties that the government is demolishing because the government wants to build what? Roads.
Moses,
Some
I
of those
challenge you. Moses, I challenge you 100%. I challenge you tonight. If those properties are not on a government alleyway and they've been demolished or are they being compensated, I will never come on the show again. And
So,
let's stop
so,
this. This same thing happened
so,
on
so,
the
Edwin, stop
so
that.
Edwin,
You that challenge
Edwin,
there, you further miss
Edwin,
out.
listen to you
so,
keenly. You spoke, I listened to you keenly. We all have come here and argue, even with the one that was happening to Hotel Africa, right? Those people are encroaching on the government land. Government will not go to demolish anybody's private property without paying for it. That's not true. I challenge you, and
Okay.
and someone can even get
Okay,
the
so
issue
gentlemen,
of
no,
no,
gentlemen,
sober, sober.
no, I come in Moses.
Okay.
Moses, we can be going back and forth with this. Now, let's try to look at the political implication.
No,
I know I come in.
I want to respond to.
No, I come in.
Okay.
You use your time to respond. With all what is happening, Moses, and the rest of you, the Seed Town demolition, yes, private owner and huge citizens of the country, Roto Town and the military linked eviction. Let's look at 2029. Can this also influence decision by people being affected as a result of those demolitions? And let's begin with you, Prince Crippler.
So, Sobo, this government has already inflated herself politically before even this demolition. This is only going to make matter worse. The poor state of the governance of the country, the worsening economic condition of our people versus, making thousands of people homeless. Trust me, these individuals, they're not going to vote for the government again. That is what the Unity Party chairman saw, for which he's going to do that political intervention that he's done. But it's not going to help the government. It's not going to help them at all. No amount of face saving will help this government. The government will be evicted.
Okay. Dave, let's hear from you. Do you think this will further help to depopularize the administration ahead of 2029?
In the first time, sometimes it sounds nonsensical to me when people try to say because of 2029 the right thing shouldn't be done, because elections are coming, the right thing shouldn't be done. Then people still say the government is not making effort in improving the country in terms of infrastructure and the livelihood of the people. when government try to take these kind of measures, people criticize. And people talking about 2029, that's about 4 years from now on.
3 years from now.
Or 3 years from now. So if a man comes and brings a kitchen on the sidewalk and start frying color and start cooking rice, and you know, when government say more
do you know,
then people say people should build major structures all around the place in alleyways, and when the government shouldn't take action because the government won't vote in 2029. So how does the country prosper? How does the country develop?
Let me give you a little correct education. Do you know that this government or Liberians, we have only 2026 to really carry out development and popularize the government that wants to, either retain power?
You know,
because in 2027 and 2027, 2028 will all be political years, will be political alignment and realignment. So the question we are asking is, can what is happening, demolitions, military link demolition, private, owner had rendered dozens of people homeless, can it affect?
As far as I'm concerned, the government is working to improve the infrastructure of the country and improve the livelihood of people without caring about 2029.
Okay.
The government achievements will determine its results.
Okay. Let me hear you. Yes.
So I think if anybody see these things, as the determining factor for 2029, then they don't understand Liberian politics. These areas that government is trying to open to build roads and stuff. At the end of the day, even those people who are affected now will realize that it was for the better good of the larger society. Now, Prince is sitting maybe in America. My brother Moses is also sitting there. He's not seeing the idea. Why are they opening the road to Rototown? You and I know that they're doing the overhead bridge. So what they're doing, they're pushing the traffic further in front to Vamoma. So therefore, you have to look for a route where people can go in and come out, rather than being stuck in a traffic for maybe 2-3 hours.
So that will stop you from compensating the people.
One minute. You spoke at gate time. So to think that because the roads have been open, people who are in the alleyway, they're getting them out to open the road is going to decide the factor of 2029.
The fate of
then I don't think they understand Liberian politics.
Let's hear from you, Moses. What do you think?
Okay, first, I would like to begin on this note. I just want to say this to my brother David Tagbert. We are on the radio. And for Mr. Tagbert to say it is nonsensical, that's not being civil. And it is nonsensical for people to say that, hey, this is going to have an impact. He basically telling these people that they are stupid, and we shouldn't be saying stuff like that on the radio.
That insinuation is very wrong.
Okay, so Mr. Tagbert, I will allow you to speak. We talk one at a time.
No. Let you read the check.
Mr. Tagbert,
no sense in it. So if you call that favor, no, Moses, I disagree.
Yeah, so Honorable Tagbert, let me complete my thoughts.
That's wrong.
Mr. Tagbert, let's do them one at a time. That's how we hold conversation. All right. So what I was saying here is that you don't have to be a magician.
Moses talking about doing the right thing. I want to tell him what the right thing that the government needs to do.
No, I'll come in.
Let me complete my thoughts first. I was speaking.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was saying here is that you do not have to be a magician to say that what is happening today will have an impact on this administration. Obviously, it is going to be a key factor in the decision-making process, just as you had in 2023. When harmonization was used as a key factor in deciding whether the WIA administration was re-elected or not, it is true that what the government is doing, the intent is good, the objectives are good, we want to see a developed country. However, not all Liberians affected by this problem will say, oh, well, they were doing it because they wanted to develop our country. People have different way of reacting to situations. Some people could use it against the government. So let us not be dismissive of that. It will obviously be a key factor.
Okay.
Okay.
In 2029.
Let me make an interjection. The first thing, let me clarify that the word nonsensical is not being, rude. Nonsensical means no sense in it. And besides that, Moses is telling the Liberian people that this country should remain where it is. It shouldn't progress in terms of infrastructure development, the improvement of the people's life. These are the same mindset governments before had. The issue of votes, so they didn't do the right thing to improve the country infrastructurally and to take decisions and make policies that will improve the life of the people, they improve this country. Because if they took the hard, look, my brother, good decisions are outward unpopular decisions. If a government takes an action in the interest of the people, and people criticize, so government we should run the country on the basis of sympathy.
Okay, Dave, let's go there, Dave.
So because election coming in 2029, Joseph Boakai should not build roads. Government should not build roads. Should not clear alleyways. And that's why that's our Prince Crippler. Prince Crippler amuses me on the show a lot. He amuses me a whole lot. This is a Prince Crippler who was mute yesterday when his CDC people were making the wrong decisions that they were booted out. And he says in America today, he knows human rights. Today, he knows how to talk. Yesterday, he was in a country as if he not here. All the wrong decisions are being made. People died, auditors died, other things happened.
Do you have the facts?
And the government was dismissed. Even the president was dismissed.
Do you have the facts?
The auditors.
No, they are not. Let's forget about that.
So they didn't talk yesterday.
Gentlemen, we have to go.
No, that's a heat. That's a heat.
I know you are dealing with type of information ministry.
That's right. No. I disagree with that. I'm not with the information ministry.
We have to transition.
You can have people bringing hypocrisy. You can have people having hypocrisy on the show.
Dave, we have to transition, gentlemen. Listeners, you are listening to the Nighttime Heat rated on Pram FM. I'm coming, Chief. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'll come to you. You gotta.
No, but if you go to him, then you have to come to me again. No.
1 minute, Dave. 1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute, gentlemen. 1 minute. I'm in a driver's seat here. So viewers, you can share the show.
With the session and hypocrisy that
we are streaming live on Pram FM 105.5. We are also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just type Nighttime Heat either on your Facebook or your YouTube channel, and of course, you're going to watch the show and enjoy the show as well. The Supreme Court has summoned Prophet Key. We'll be talking about it very, very shortly. We'll talk about that. Now, Prince Crippler, you can come in quickly.
On the Supreme Court?
No. You say
basically, I can understand, David, if you're doing PR for the government.
I know that's exactly what I ended.
But it's wrong. I know you as a professional person to use misinformation on my name is unacceptable.
Did I say
Prince Crippler in Liberia is very notable for standing for the right thing. You know me, you've interviewed me on numerous of occasions. And so I'm not buying into that. What we are saying is that once the government does the right thing, we will hail the government for that. It is the best practice if you are bringing development. We know development is painful, but you cannot bring road in a community and throw your citizens into abject poverty. Find an alternative means for them. That's good governance. If you're talking about the right thing, President Boyka's house is right on the middle of the road in rehab.
You are in power. Why you didn't bring it
On
down?
the middle of the road in rehab. Is that not the right thing to go and remove the president's house from the middle of the road in rehab? His house is the only house, surrounded by 4 corners of road. If you want to do the right thing, ask President Boyka to go and remove his house from the middle of the road in rehab where all the
all right. So Prince,
when you're in power, why didn't you use the road?
No, that's not an issue there. That the mayor spoke on. So, gentlemen, we'll have to transition.
So quickly, Sober, I just want to correct Mr. Tyler quickly. He said something, he took me out of context, and I need to correct that. So, Mr. Tyler, basically what I'm saying here is that I want the government to approach the current situation in the country with compassion. I am not opposed to development. And that's the message that you try to convey. Oh, Moses is saying that the government shouldn't do this. We should allow this, we should allow our people to build all over the countries. Look, the government over the year, and it is, when I say the government, I'm not making reference to the Boyka administration, successive administration. One of the challenges we have in our country is that we do not enforce the laws of the country. I heard you guys are talking about people building out of way, When those constructions were going on, what did the government do? Absolutely nothing. That's what we call neglect. You allow people to put up structures in areas where they were not to. You did nothing.
Boyka house on the alleyway.
You did nothing.
Okay. To respond
Moses, I think you have done your correction. We have to transition now. We can stick to this one topic endlessly. We have to transition. Now, gentlemen, let's try to get your take. No, Kripla, we're transitioning now, please. We are not talking about whether the president's house on the right on the road. No, we are about to transition. Prince, let's try to leave that topic now and move forward. Now, gentlemen, we woke up this morning to the news about the Supreme Court summoning Prophet Key. We all know Prophet Key. For abuse and insult of the court. I'm trying to see what I can get it quickly. Okay, I think this is it. After repeatedly blasting and openly attacking the Chief Justice with harsher words, New Prophet Key has now been called to face the law. The Supreme Court of Liberia has summoned him to appear and explain why he should not be held in contempt of court over what authorities described as insulting and offensive remarks directed at the nation top judge. Prophet Key is expected before the full bench on Tuesday, February 10, 2026, following his bold public claims accusing the justice system of deep corruption. Okay, gentlemen, so that's the story there. Prophet Key is expected to appear next Tuesday. Moses, let's get the thought.
Look, the situation with Prophet Key is not new. Most prominent people in Liberia have been literally assaulted verbally by Prophet Key. He calls people terrible names. He delved into people's personal lives. But guess what? The very prominent people in government are the ones who sit and dine with Prophet Key. They are the enablers of Prophet Key's behavior. When you enable someone's behavior, when someone is doing something negative, instead of helping to correct the problem, you applaud the person, you celebrate the person, you reinforce the person's behavior. That's what it means to enable. So, for example, Prophet Key is a friend of the vice president. In recent time in Nimba, he was in the company of the vice president. In recent time, he was in the company of the Minister of Information. Do you expect a Moses Seni as Minister of Information to send and talk to Prophet Key? Absolutely not.
I think, gentlemen, Moses, 1 minute. Moses, 1 minute. Gentlemen, we need to mute our system. We need to mute our system. I hope Prince Crippler can mute and the rest of you when you're about to speak on mute. Go ahead because we are getting terrible sound.
Prophet Key verbally berated the former culture ambassador. The woman went to court. The legal advisor to the president advised the judiciary to throw that woman case out of the country. The argument then was that what? It was free speech. It was free speech. Judy didn't get justice. And today, the judiciary is talking about, oh, well, I may appear before the full bench. But where were you when Judy went to court? When Judy went to court, the court threw this woman case out. Someone who says closer to the president said what happened in the case of Judy was free speech. They enabled this man's behavior. They promoted him. They said in time with him. The government created this problem. So let's wait and see what the court is going to do.
Okay, so Moses is trying to create the impression or the picture that what is obtaining is what we refer to as cherry picking or selective justice. Prophet Key once took issue with or insulted the former culture ambassador Judy Endy. When the women rose to take him to court, the legal advisor to the president said that was a free speech. So in another word, Moses is saying it should be handled at that level. That what he has said about the Supreme Court should be considered as free speech. What do you think?
Yeah, people have the right to freedom of expression, but that freedom is not absolute. It's associated with responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
If a person feels hurt, if you talk about a person disparagingly, if a person feels hurt or think you've injured their reputation, they have the right to go to court. That's exactly what Judy Endy did. Judy Endy felt injured.
Mm-hmm.
She felt that her reputation was injured by some of the comments that Prophet Key made. And so she took Prophet Key to court. And the court ruled that, how they call it, the Judy Endy did not have the sufficient evidence or pieces of evidence to adduce in court. That's why I heard the case was thrown out, right? But it raises eyebrows. The court's decision to have someone Prophet Key is raising a lot of eyebrows. The fact that the same thing the Supreme Court is frowning on today, for which is inviting Prophet Key, the similar utterances Prophet Key made against Judy Endy at that time, when Judy Endy felt injured. And that case did not go anywhere. Now, Prophet Key has not turned the barrel of his gun
at the
Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court is aggravated, and as a result is inviting Prophet Key to a hearing. If he doesn't take time, he may likely go to jail or be fined. He may be fined. But whatever the case is, Prophet Key, if the court, as far as the court is concerned, the court is injured. The reputation of the court is injured. You expose the court to a public ridicule. It making it possible that Prophet Key utterances against the court can diminish. It has a tendency of diminishing the confidence that people have in the judicial system. So the court has the right to call him to a hearing. I don't know, in contempt.
But do you see that Tabe, as selective justice? Because before then, Prophet Key was taken to court by Judy Andy and some women, and the legal advisor, we understand from you just heard from him, and he said that was a free speech. Should the Supreme Court also consider what Prophet Key said to them or said to the court as free speech?
The first thing is that it sounds like censorship, right? Almost like silencing, the critics of the government. But again, that right to freedom of expression is not absolute, as I said initially. It has its own responsibility, and that's that responsibility for which they call him Prophet Key. As far as the court is concerned, the High Court is concerned, Prophet Key is casting aspersion on this repetition.
But let me take you back.
And he needs to answer some questions, which is fair enough.
Okay, so why they couldn't allow Prophet Key to answer questions when Judy Andy ran to court?
So now Judy Andy had the right. I don't know whether that issue was handled by the High Court itself or from
for the lower court.
For the subordinate court.
Yeah.
For the subordinate court. Judy Andy could pursue the matter.
Okay, let's go there.
And she didn't do that.
Let's hear from you.
The right to pursue the court.
Okay,
let's
hear from you.
Let me provide information for Mr.
1 minute, Edwin. Let's let Moses come in.
Yeah, I just want to provide information. When the lawsuit was filed, the legal advisor to the president intervened that there was no need for the court to proceed because the utterances that emanated from Prophet Key, the verbal assault, according to Bishop Ben Keita, is free speech. Predicated on that, the case did not move forward. The court did not say the woman had no evidence. No. The legal advisor argument was that allowing the court to prosecute Prophet Key, that would be a violation of what? Free speech.
So Moses is suggesting that the government, through the advisor, the legal advisor to the president, obstructed justice in a nutshell. Is that what Moses is saying? That the government, the application of justice in a nutshell. That's what he's saying.
Let me just throw some light on this stuff. Moses, first of all, the legal advisor to the president cannot send an opinion to the lower court for the lower court to honor. There's nowhere in the world that happens.
So give us an idea as to
the legal advisor, in fact, the only person's whose opinion matters to the court.
All know
coming
that.
Chief.
That's not no.
Because
so give us reasons why.
We need to lay the foundation. You don't just go into legal things.
Go ahead.
The only person's opinion, most often that is even given credence before even the Supreme Court, is the Minister of Justice.
Which we all know.
Okay, now, so let me come back to this whole thing. Not because it happened yesterday, so it means that this current Supreme Court bench cannot call Prophet Key to go and answer to verbal utterances. There are two branches of the government that has contempt power, the legislature and the judiciary. And it is based on this power that they have invited Prophet Key. Now, when you make derogatory statement that has the propensity to bring the Supreme Court to public disrepute, they have the authority to bring you on a contempt charges.
Likewise, when you make a statement, insult a woman,
so
showing disregard to womanhood,
so because it was a civil matter,
so
because it was a civil matter, they went to court, and when they went to court, it was left with both parties presenting the evidence, and the judge ruled on whatever evidence was presented. But for you to sit
They
there and
just
say,
rule on
Every man, look,
Edwin, no,
every,
Chief, don't say that, Edwin. No,
Chief,
that's not
every
true.
do say that. You're talking to people, I do not live in Liberia. You're talking to people who follow happenings in Liberia. Bro, you idiots.
Buju Ben Keita will not send an opinion to the court.
What you talking about, Edwin? Yeah, you're talking to people who know what is happening in the country, Edwin.
That's not
Every one of
true.
us here know what is happening in our country.
I'm saying to you, the way in which cases are prosecuted. In fact, the president advisor do not even has prosecutorial power on any matters in this country. It is the Ministry of Justice that prosecutes a whole prosecution arm. If this was a criminal case, it was going to be the Ministry of Justice plus the private party litigant. But you cannot say to me here, all right, that it was an opinion from the president legal advisor that made a judge to throw a case out of the court. That's not true.
Okay. Prince Crippler, let's get your opinion.
So Moses and the rest of the other colleagues in Stubborn, trust me, I do not support Prophet Key, and I detest his approach in advocacy. It's unconventional, it's uncivilized. But here is it. Nothing is going to come out of Prophet Key's statement to the judiciary. The simple reason why nothing is going to come out of it is because Prophet Key enjoys the confidence of the entire hegemony of the government and Unity Party. The Judy Andy situation, if you look at it, how did Prophet Key get out of that hook? It was the very Unity Party and the executive branch of government that intervened. That is why Prophet Key went scot-free with the Judy Andy situation. So nothing is going to come out of it. This government has adopted a policy of no respect for the other two branches of the Liberian government. You saw the ruling of the Supreme Court. It was dismissed by the president face down in the speaker removal case. You saw the president wearing a hat in the legislature. The legislature wanted him to get a hat off the head. He vehemently on public television refused. You've seen the government signing different agreements with no regard for the authority of the legislature. This government have already adopted a policy of not having regard for the rest of the other two branches. And Prophet Key there are some of the actors who are being used to bring insult and terror on the other branches of the government, and nothing will come after. You see David Tyrell position. You see Formula's position. These people have been in the position of serving as the government mouthpiece. They know what is happening in the government. Everybody, the executive branch that is being attacked by Prophet Key, their view would have changed.
Okay.
If the other two branches, when it goes to the other two branches of government, their view would be different.
Let me state mine on Prophet Key. I think from what I see in this country, we do elevate and celebrate evil. We don't look for professionals. We don't look for people who are serious and people who are professional and people who do have character. What we do in this country, we celebrate evil. We have more than Prophet Keys in this country. We know who Prophet Key is. And now who often subject get involved with chicanery, shenanigans, and all of that, yet he's been celebrated.
Remember the man will come for you.
Coming, we saw Prophet Key around here, especially at the onset. This is a man who, when he read it, he uses abusive languages against females. He got no moral. But the man has been celebrated. Just in recent time, we saw Prophet Key again with the Minister of Information. Now, there's a saying, and sometimes we got to be careful of our character as to who we associate ourselves with. There's a saying, show me your friend, I will tell you who you are. Birds of the same feather flock together. Prophet Key, our character, yet people celebrating him, and people often celebrate him and elevate him. Do you think it's normal? So, do you think it's happy now? I come in. You say you say your own. Do you think it should happen in our society for men of that nature who takes the airwaves and he says things against women. He says things and things that our children should not even hear. But that man today, he goes everywhere and claims every stairs and associate with every government official. That particular man.
I think this is an
No, I'm coming. No, you said yours. You said yours. No. No, we don't talk that. You said yours. Let me speak mine. You spoke yours. You spoke yours. Let me speak mine. So men of that nature who goes everywhere. Just recently again, so there are a lot of them. If you are associated with Prophet Key, it means that you are Prophet Key.
Saba, let me ask you.
It means that you are the same character of Prophet Key. Saba. This is a man who, but listen, you say yours. Let me say mine. Say yours.
Flow, boy.
Fine. He insults women. Yet he claims every stage and every office he goes to. He goes to every office. He speaks with all of the government officials. They celebrate and elevate him.
Including the president.
Should that happen? Should that be? So, like Prince Crippler said, absolutely nothing will come out of that stuff. It's just, look, go back and don't say that thing again against the Supreme Court. And that's it.
That wait and see.
And that's it. But it's troubling to David, that in our country, we celebrate evil than good. We don't look for good. We celebrate evil.
You don't know.
We celebrate evil. And that's the situation we have on hands.
Yeah, Saba.
We're about to transition, please.
Yeah,
I think
you
you
see
spoke.
He always says he said the transition.
Dave,
The first thing, Saba.
No, 1 minute.
Saba.
No, 1 minute. Let's do justice to each
Saba,
other.
if you allow David to talk, you allow us to talk.
Crippler, 1 minute. Everybody spoke on the Prophet Key issue, right? If I spoke on it, we're crossing.
But no, we are crossing.
No. There's no checkpoint. Tell me transition quickly. We have to transition. Time is not in our interest. Yesterday we had we had two from one assistant minister and former assistant ministers, and they spoke about the issue of the harmonization. We got on our discussion. We've heard now that the harmonization, when the minister of finance said that the harmonization has been reversed, or they are making effort to reverse it, that was to say that they are trying to reduce the impact caused by harmonization. But since the minister made that statement, there has been a lot of contentions and controversies, and people have been saying that the minister slipped or misspoke by saying harmonization. So I want us to look in there. When someone says we're trying to reverse harmonization, is it not the same as we are trying to reduce the impact of harmonization? Moses, you can kickstart this one.
So I listened to the Minister of Finance, and let me make this self-disclosure. The Minister of Finance, Augustine Kwehi Gafuan, and I, we attended the Booker Washington Institute. He's my friend and brother. Last year we met in the state of Maryland when he spoke at the AJA convention. So I'm making this public for people to know that I know him. He knows me very well. We are very good friends. But what I would like to say publicly tonight is that I think Minister Gafuan misspoke. He said harmonization has been reversed. He used the word.
In some areas. I
was just about to say that.
Yes,
I was
fine.
just about to say that.
Thank you.
He said the Harmonization Act has been reversed in some areas. And he made specific reference to the GSC, the General Auditing Commission, and the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission.
Likewise, the judiciary.
Yeah, likewise the judiciary. Yeah, he talked about what? Pay increases. But what the minister did not tell the people is this. When you read the act, Edwin is here, he's a lawyer. When you read that act, it is clearly indicated in there that the law provides for what? Pay raises and decreases or reduction in salary. It is clearly indicated in that law. What the Ministry of Finance is currently doing is what? In keeping with the same law, increasing people's salary where they were before at the LSC, the GSC, the judiciary. The ministry say, hey, you know what? We need to do a top off. Let's give these people pay raises. And if you're doing that, then you are basically doing what the law says, that you will increase. I think the minister meant to say, hey, the negative consequences of the Harmonization Act is being minimized because we are gradually increasing the salaries of people. We're trying to take them back to where they were before.
Okay.
But to say that harmonization has been reversed, I think my brother Gafon was in error.
Okay, let's go there. Dave, let's hear from you.
Well, you know, I think when the finance minister said harmonization has been reversed, I think you're talking about the decrease in salaries at that time. People's salaries were decreased, and as a result, a lot of them encountered economic or financial challenges. So it is that part of the law that Moses is talking about that thing the minister talking about has been reversed. I think he knows why he's talking.
No, no.
The Minister Gafon, he knows why he's talking. He did not misstep. He said the harmonization has been reversed, so the government is reversing it, increasing people's salaries.
Okay.
Increasing people's salaries and leaving the decrement to increment.
Okay.
I think that's a reversal he's talking about. That's what my understanding is.
Okay, Dave. Let's hear from you.
Not the entire law.
Prince, let's hear from you.
So, Sobo, do you still want to trust Minister Gafon? For me, he's not worthy of my trust. This is the same Minister of Finance who said no civil servant is making less than $100 in their government.
No, listen now. Listen.
I'm coming.
No, I'm coming. Let us not.
Sobo.
No, let us not go contrary to what we are.
No, I want to tell you.
I'm coming, Prince. Let's not, go contrary to what we are discussing here. We are asking the question: is reversing harmonization, is it not the same as reducing the impact of harmonization on the lives of the people? Let's not, go contrary to the discussion here.
The first thing, I don't believe the minister that they are even reducing the impact or they reversing the policy. The first thing in the policy sense and environment, when you say you're reversing a process, it means that you are doing away with that process. In policy sense, it means you are doing away with that process. Are they doing away with harmonization? No, because if you say you are doing away with harmonization, it means you return to the old order where some directors were being paid higher fee, salaries, and some directors, even though they are doing equal job, and they were paid low salaries. That's one of the process that harmonization rectify. If you say you're reversing harmonization, it will also mean that the government one payroll that they have now, you now have multiple of payrolls like it used to be before, which is not the case. What Minister Gafon was trying to point to is political. Because everybody has said they have failed on their policy of reversing harmonization. So you now come to lie to the Liberian people that they are.
Okay, let's go there.
So when you're about to point to me, I almost wanted to say go to Prince Coupler. Prince first, because this is a field policy that all of them still trying to push. Okay. And let me say this, right?
And a policy be failed and you are now doing away with it. You benefit.
It was a field policy.
Prince.
And each time we
They
try
asked the
to
president to announce the withdrawal of that policy.
Mr. Kripla,
Prince,
1
let
minute.
me talk.
You can talk across 1 minute. Yeah, you
Prince,
spoke already.
Prince, maybe you myself can have this debate one day so we can discuss.
Go ahead.
Now, the mistake that the falsehood that you guys keep trying to put out there is to make it seem that this harmonization only affected directors or so. That's a blatant lie. The harmonization affected down to even
the sweeper
that were in those ministries and agencies, which of course it was illegal because under our law you cannot decrease someone's salary. But then because the CDC wanted to bring in more people into government, they decided to create this idea that look, what we can do, we can cut from here, we can cut from Peter Paul and pay John Brown. It became a flood. So this whole thing you're trying to say, oh, it was for ministers, it was for directors, that's not true. The entire idea, and what the minister is saying that, look,
they holistically reverse it.
Will you please give me a chance?
Mr. Kripla, let me speak. Yeah.
So what the minister is trying to say, this particular field policy that affected people in certain area that I believe to be very sensitive, the GSC, right? Those are integrative institutions, the LACC. We have started to reverse that particular policy, and this in war is going to impact this whole harmonization stuff. Is there where we are going to stop? No, we're going to go further. So this is why even now the legislature through Senator Snow is asking for the minister.
You are implementing the illegal process now, right?
No. We are reversing the illegal process. Please. We are reversing the illegal process because your process was illegal. The illegal cut both salary because you wanted to inflate government payroll with citizens.
So why are you implementing it? You should reverse it completely.
We are not implementing it. We are reversing it, and that's what the minister said.
Let me come into my thoughts. Please, Prince, 1 minute, please. We can talk across the floor, Prince. If your colleague is making his point, allow him to learn his thoughts, please. My understanding of and this is I think a reaction, a pushback to my good friend Moses Sandy. I think my understanding of reversing harmonization is trying to reduce, because all in all, we know what harmonization caused. It affected, it peppered our people who could make ends meet could not. They go to work and they get little salaries. In fact, to the extent that even those who were at the lowest ebb, they also suffer that. Now, I think the minister is saying we are trying to reduce the impact of the harmonization. That is, let's assume if John Brown was earning maybe $75 before harmonization, pre-harmonization, and the government of today is saying, look, we're trying to reverse by increasing. And so let's assume if this man was earning $75 prior to harmonization, but harmonization came, it was introduced, and it affected his salary, it brought it down to $50. And the government is saying, okay, we are now trying to take it to either to 75 or close to 75. It's reducing the impact. That is the suffering that guy was going through, or that lady was going through, that her $75 or her $50 rather, that a harmonization had reduced her salary to. She could not do what she wanted to do. That particular impact, that particular effect is what the minister is saying. We are trying to relieve that person of that effect. What is wrong? I'm still trying to wonder as to why it has become so contentious. That since the minister came out to say, look, we are trying to reverse harmonization, why people are trying to make
Because
understand
they
it.
want to protect something like
It's
that.
really
No,
easy.
the simple reason is that
Sober.
when something is not
Minute,
good,
one
Sober.
minute.
when
I
something
said
is
I'll
not
put you
good,
back on
Sober, let me
Moses.
answer your
May,
question,
may I
Sober.
say something, Sober?
Sober, let me answer your question.
This is all
Yes,
you guys.
yes,
Let me
Let me
yes,
answer
Sober.
your question, Sober.
Okay.
let me speak now.
That anger made French people run to America.
Moses,
They're angry.
let me
Yeah,
speak.
because you can come with a show where insincere, we come with
No,
honesty.
Dave, please let me speak. So that's the impact that the government is saying, look, we are trying to reduce this impact because people's salary had been reduced. And as a result, they've been subjected to difficulty and hardship. So we're trying to increase again by reducing the impact. What has made this statement by the minister so contentious that people cannot understand what the minister was trying to say? Moses, you can come in now.
Yeah, okay, so Sober.
Oh, Sober, I thought it was me that Moses, you
Yeah,
gave me the
yeah,
floor.
no, I asked.
That was the policy, don't worry.
I was pushing back on Moses. Moses trying to come back.
Okay, look, Sober, well said.
Thank
And
you.
that is what the minister meant to say. That, hey, we are reducing the impact. However, the minister's pronouncement contradicts what you just explained.
No.
No.
Listen,
No.
Sober, allow me. Sober, allow me. Sober, let me complete. Sober, let me. No, Sober, let me complete. The minister said harmonization has been reversed.
No, that's not what you said.
Oh, my man, you can play the tape.
He's saying the minister said we are making
The
effort
guy,
to reverse harmonization.
Oh my God.
The minister said we are making effort to reverse harmonization.
No, you said.
I'm coming, Moses.
No, Sober, the minister said he said they are reverse harmonization in
Never said that. Never said that.
The
And
minister was
minister
very emphatic in that video.
Okay, guys, let's do it one at a time now. Let's do it one at a time.
Go ahead, Moses.
If you guys want to debate this, we can take a few seconds and let us replay the tape. The minister said harmonization has been reversed at the LACC, the judiciary, and the GSC.
Okay.
And let me provide this information. I heard people talking about policy. A policy is quite different from an act. Harmonization is not a policy. It's a law that was legislated. A bill was introduced.
One minute. No. I come in. Moses, just 1 minute. Granted is a law that been legislated, right?
Yes.
Oh, that coming now. What makes it? What makes that law to be a standing law when salary had been increased from what it was from what it is now to a better level? What makes that law standing? It means that the law now I come in. It means that law has been reversed. The law is
Sober, if you look at the law, it says right there.
So
the laws provide for what? Increases and decreases. What Minister Gaffon has done is what? Increasing salaries.
That is increasing to reduce the impact of that harmonization.
No, yes. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Look, the pronouncement from the minister, what the minister meant to say, Sober. What the minister,
after reducing the impact, in simple terms, it means that we are reversed. Because when the impact was there, when the impact was there, that harmonization was standing. But the fact that the impact has been reduced, you reverse the harmonization. That impact is
no, you have not. You have not. The law
Moses.
is still there. It has not been reviewed. You can only the way you can undo. Yeah, guys, quickly. The only way you can undo a law is to repeal the law. And what do? You go back to the legislature for the repealing process. We have a lawyer here in training. They make him speak to that. He knows it better than any of us. That's how you can undo laws.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If salaries have been increased, right?
Yes.
So salaries are increased across government agencies and ministries and everyone who were being affected by the harmonization and now have that new salaries, right?
Yeah.
Do we still need to say that harmonization is still in effect?
Harmonization is still in effect because the law has not been repealed.
Okay, that's what we did. Let the lawyer, let the man, let speak. How many priests?
No, priest. We know you want to back this your harmonization stuff. We give you the time.
What you want to do? Misinform the Liberian people.
I want to criticize it because it affected the Liberian people. First of all, that law that was even passed by the legislature, whatever act is it, that act can be challenged because it goes contrary to other laws that says that you cannot reduce formula salary based if formula is still doing the same job. And you went ahead and did it, which of course becomes illegal. Now, what is happening here? And again, the minister is educated, he's learned. He's not going to just say because they're working to reverse harmonization in 2 or 3 areas and say we have reverse harmonization. No, that's not what he's saying. It's a whole process. And it's going to, because every institution in this country, with the exception of few state-owned enterprises, were affected by this harmonization stuff. To be able to go and do it holistically, it's not going to take 1 fiscal year. They will have to go around gradually. It's a gradual
That's
process.
the reason why the minister uses it gingerly.
Now, Prince is angry. Prince is angry, and he wants to defend this illegal thing that they did.
You can't get formula all the time
because Prince feels that it's going to create problem for his political party. Because just yesterday, your former assistant minister was here, who said that if government attempt to reverse harmonization, the government will collapse. That's what he said yesterday, and that's not true.
Okay, that's what Prince, you can come in now. Yeah.
It's a
we're almost to closing time. You can come in now.
It's a lie for anybody to say the government is reversing harmonization. There's nothing such like reversing harmonization. To reverse harmonization means you will have to sit with the IMF to have conversation with the IMF. Because the harmonization arrangement is the arrangement that gave rise to the structural adjustment program that is currently being implemented by the government of Liberia and the IMF. Under that structural adjustment program, the IMF provides $26 million annually to Liberia whenever she failed to withdraw from her international reserve. That's part of it. The second point is to say you reverse harmonization. It means that you bring back pay grade to the old order. There were ministers from the Early and Boyka administration that were making up to $17,000. There was SOEs, heads of SOEs that were making up to $25,000. I remember the issue about Maritime. I think Snaga, one of the guys that were running the Maritime at that time, JD or Edward Snaga, one of the Snagas, they were making $25,000. The harmonization process brought all ministers, cabinet ministers, to around 7,000, the highest that a cabinet minister will make, assistant minister, deputy minister, then directors. I was in government as a director. We have conversation as the planning director for the Water and Sanitation Commission. There were a couple of conversations that happened. So the minister cannot come here and say they
okay, all right, you made your point. You made a point. Then David come in, we got to close. You come in. You made your point. You made your point. Then David come in, please. You made your point already.
I challenge the president to come on and say,
no, please, you made your point. We can't talk that you made a point.
I think former President Weah has come to realize the reason why he lost the election. Because you have people, the Prince Krupla, advising George Weah, or in a cycle of the CDC. How will CDC now lose election? Look at how he's sounding. You can sense the deception, the lies, the falsehood. Because you want to defend a failed policy, a failed law, What is the problem? What is annoying you when the government say we are increasing?
Oh, they
Civil
didn't say
service-
they're increasing, they said they're reversing, which is not
They're
true.
reversing.
That's why
That's the
annoying
same
anybody.
That's the
They
same
carry
thing.
back to
You
where
get
it
the post
was.
salary low. They
Yeah.
put everything back to where it was, or even it made some
Monetization is
amendments.
not just about
and
about
stuff.
salary.
So
And
people are-
Slumber,
Prince
let me
Crippler.
correct something quick Prince said.
Yeah.
It seems
The
that
IMF
you understand
The
what
IMF did
harmonization
not
is.
sanction harmonization. What the IMF did, when the CDC government started to infiltrate government, there are certain key areas with our partisans. The IMF told them that you have to get them out. One example was the central bank. We all
Another area was the port.
where
Look
even
at
they were
why
even
he's
taking
talking.
former football players, coach, and standing there at the
So in
central
the
bank
port
as
there, in
directors.
the port now, in the port, United Party not employing your partisans in the
They
port.
have more than
United Party not employing
they
your
put
partisans
alone.
as central
They have
bank.
more than 50 executive directors in the
Why
port
you-
alone.
One guy went to the information ministry to take pay. They asked him which department. You know what he said? He said, I don't know which department, but I came here as a result of presidential mandate. Go ask. Those are the thing Prince Crippler
We
then
have to- we
said
have
that here
to
they
go.
say
We
they
have
say
to
they're
go.
defending. What kind of thing
David
is
Thomas,
this?
you can't get your
But
name.
look,
So
so
what-
No, gentlemen, we have to go. Moses, let me get a party comment.
Prince Crippler,
okay, yes, so but just a quick comment I want to make. Yeah, quickly, and that would be my parting comment. Look, government,
Party comment.
yeah, my parting comment. This is my parting comment I want to make. My parting comment would be that I want to appeal to my brother David Tagwe.
what happened
And
again?
I
man?
read it this, and David, I read it.
Disappointed.
Disagree with you the way you talk to Mr. The way you talk to Prince.
What did I say,
It is
Moses?
because wait, let me complete. It is
This is
because
discourse.
yeah, my man, wait, that's not intellectualism. Intellectualism doesn't mean that you berate people.
We have to go.
You put the man down. You say it's because of people like him that Mr. We are lost the election. We shouldn't
But am I
be
lying? No, Prince
we
knows
can
I'm telling the truth.
listen, my man.
What
We
kind of
can
truth I know you talking?
we can be we can disagree.
You working for your pay.
We can disagree, but we cannot put other people down. That's
We
my
have to
party
go.
comment.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
And
Moses.
Prince, let me get a party comment, Prince.
And see it there again.
So my party comment.
You trying to stir up chaos on the show.
My
Why
party
you why
comment.
bring Prince in
No,
again?
that Prince.
Let's go.
David, you gotta give me. Why are you
Yeah,
getting
party
every
comment.
time when I have to speak? Why are you worried? So look, here is it. The minister lied to the Liberian people as usual to say they have reversed harmonization at LACC, GAC, and other places. There was no such thing as harmonization at those
You
undergrads.
said it earlier. You said it earlier.
No,
You
no
said
such,
it.
right?
We asked you for your party comment.
But I'm a party that I intend to reinforce my statement.
Okay, all right,
What
then
my
you.
party statement should be.
All right, okay.
So I intend to reinforce what I said initially. So the
Okay,
minister,
thank you.
the
You made your
minister
party
did not tell
comment.
the truth,
Made your
and
party
I want the
comment.
Liberian people to know that this government is a lying
Mr.
government. and
Crippler,
should not be
Mr.
listened
Crippler, you
to.
made a party comment. Dave, let's hear from you quickly.
My parting comment?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My parting comment is that look.
Don't throw jabs at
No,
Prince.
I'm not throwing jabs at anybody yet. Look, we have to come with sincerity to the discourse. Let us not come on the show with a mindset of that negativity. Come with a mindset of party sentiments. You know, if you listen
So
to Prince,
come with a mindset or just supporting the
if you
government.
listen to Prince Crippler, you know that his views are impregnated with sentiments, party sentiments. He's not being sincere. You look at what you call in the black, and that's unfair to this country. He says over there eating, I don't know, Kim Burger, and he criticizes everything. Yesterday he knows how to talk. Why didn't he talk? The simple says yes.
All right.
You
You made
know,
a comment already.
This
You
people,
know,
they-
So
they-
the
they-
whole comment I
they're
just on Prince
very
Crippler is
unpatriotic,
no issue.
nationalistic.
No
Edwin,
politics
let's hear
issue.
you.
No, stop
Yeah,
that.
guys,
No
let
person
me-
was listening to you,
Let me
David.
let me just say this. Moses and Prince, we live in harmonization. We live here for the past 12 years, 6 years. We live in it. We saw how our people were made a nobody Some of these people even had to go to the banks to go and renegotiate their loans that they took to build that property, because one minister sat one day and went to President Weah and said, look, we think we can cut people's salary so that we can bring more people in the government. We can do this, and let's do it a law. And then they went through that, not doing it properly. We see a responsible government is now trying to bring the dignity of our people back. Put their money back in their pocket so that their family
to be so dishonest.
Definitely. I don't care how Prince Kopla feel. I don't care how the CDC feel. Harmonization will be reversed, and our people will have that dignity.
All right, so gentlemen, we have to go.
Thank you.
We have to go. Prince, thank you, and Moses and Dave and Edwin. We're hoping that George will join us next week. That's the essence of this program. The heat got to be developed. We have to make sure that we have the heat on this program almost every night. And of course, this program is not basically intended to, it's not anti-government, it's not pro-government. If the government did something positive, we're going to, celebrate the government and promote the government. If the government did something wrong, we'll also beat on the government. That's the essence of the nighttime heat. To speak about Liberia. What concerns our people is our interest. Until then, Sobo George is my name. Have a pleasant weekend.